Hey guys, so I was recently catching up on season 3 of My Hero Academia, and pretty lit as usual for My Hero Academia. It had its greatness, it had its funny moments, it had its scary moments. Two of the biggest highlights were the fights. Number one, Deku versus Muscular was just amazingly choreographed, and how it all worked out with Koda and his quirk and everything, and Deku using the 1,000,000% Detroit smash. That was really cool, but oh boy. United States of Smash! Christopher Sabat is a god-like voice actor. I don't care what anybody says. I quite do not care. If you like the sub better, fine by you. If you like the sub better, go ahead. Frick it. I don't care. But one thing's for sure. The dub is still superior anyway. I feel like Sabat just put his heart more into that. But catching up on season 3 kinda got me thinking, what if I had a quirk? What if I could design my quirk? What would I do with it, and what would it be? Strengths and weaknesses, all that junk. So today we're here to talk about if I had a quirk and if I were in the world of My Hero Academia. So, just like 3 basic categories we kind of want to go over here. How I use it, attacking, defense, all that jazz, the strengths of it, and the weaknesses of it. Now, the quirk I came up with is called Geometry. Terrifying, I know. Basically, I kind of came up with this as next year, as I go on to the 10th grade, I'm going to start geometry within math. And so my friends were just like, hey, we should all study for this. And I kind of got thinking, since, I had My Hero Aka on the brain, I was thinking, I can make this into a quirk. So that's where this whole video spawned from, and here's how the quirk works. Essentially, to make plasma in the air, which is the whole focus of the quirk, you have to superheat the air. And that's what I do. I take my fingertips, I superheat the air around them, and I form shapes out of pure plasma. Now, I know plasma doesn't necessarily work like this, but not all the quirks in the My Hero Academia universe are scientifically accurate. I mean, let's take a look at Tokoyami here. What exactly is Dark Shadow? Right. So, I use my fingertips and I can form 2D shapes like squares, triangles, and circles, but I can also form 3D shapes like cubes and cones and spheres and stuff like that. So, category 1, how I use it in battle and stuff like that. Now, let's start with the utilities of the 2D shapes. The 2D shapes, I draw them out now. I can normally just use them for shields to stop incoming attacks. And then I can also, since they're flat, I can flip them over and balance on them and fly around if I want to. Also, these shapes float. So yeah, I can use it to do that. Also, if I wanted to slice an enemy per se, since they're flat, I can just thrust them at an enemy and maybe even cut them in half if I want to, if I can hit them hard enough. But we'll get into that when we go to the weaknesses. How I use it, also, the strengths of this would be, it relies on the air around me, so I'm never really going to run out of, ammo and stuff, but technically ammo, but problem is, it kind of does, tire me out having to do all this with my body. Also, another weakness is, I'm not too physically trained. This is me we're talking about here. Look how skin and bones I am. I'm not too physically strong, so the whole slicing thing I talked about might not happen too often, and also, it's not if I can't use this up close and close quarters combat, so I'm more relying on setting the stage up with these flat ones. But when it comes to the 3D ones, now these are kind of different since they're 3D. The main focus for this part was to be able to trap villains in them. Now, if you're especially strong, like, say, All Might, or if you move fast enough to hit the barriers hard enough, aka Gran Torino, you could break them. But the main focus is to trap them within them and, either take them away to jail or interrogate them and stuff like that. I can also, since I can make them any size that I want to, I could thrust those at them and just hit them really hard. Like, say I hit somebody with, this giant cube. That's gonna hurt. Also, bigger they are, the harder it is for me to move them around the air. Also, I can't really focus on too many at once. And another huge clincher of this, I have to physically make them with my fingers. I can't just think them into existence. I have to draw them out. And this can leave me wide open for a shot from any particular villain or hero I'm fighting or sparring with. So yeah, that's the geometry quirk. It relies on me using plasma in the air to create things and stuff like that. Another point I've been meaning to make, when it does come to close quarters combat, I can't use them a lot, but what I can do is put the 3D shapes together and stuff like that to make weapons. Let's say I put a really thin cylinder. I can also control like the thinness and stuff like that. Let's say a really thin cylinder and a sphere, and smash them together. I can make like those little spinning ball things or whatever that Gene from One Piece has. I can make maces. Oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Listen to this. Like I make the thin cylinder, I put the sphere on top, and then I put a bunch of like cones around it to make like a spiked mace. I can like make a hammer with a rectangle. This quirk particularly depends on my creativity and utility per se. I didn't want a quirk that I could just use to like smash people into the ground, again, like All Might, Midoriya, and things like that. It all depends on what I can think up in battle at that time, which is really what I go for in any sort of power making sense or anything at all. I gravitate towards people or characters with abilities that focus more on the way you think rather than how much you use your body. Which is why, I mean, One for All is still a cool quirk, but I do prefer other quirks like Bakugo's or Todoroki's, which can be used in different ways and stuff like that. Midoriya just straight up uses the power in his body. So yeah, that's my quirk geometry. I did sort of think of a hero name to go along with this, but not really. I was going to call myself Dimension, because, you know, like I can make different dimensions and stuff like that with the thing. That's kind of how that functions. So, if you can think of a better one, though, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. Also, tell me your own quirks in the comments below. Would you want a mutation, an emitter, something, anything like that? Let me know. Also, let me know what you want to see out of My Hero Academia in the future, like with other people's quirks and what sort of new characters you might want to see. If you read the manga, don't put anything spoilery in the comments, please. Because not only will everybody else want to kill you, I will want to kill you too. Are we clear, children? Alright, so yeah, that's really it for this video. Tomorrow's video, I think I'm going to touch on something more about, like, shonen heroes in general. So let me know if you're hyped for that. And, pretty sure that's it for all. Deuces, guys. I didn't.